This week's video, I'm going to show you how to astral project. I'm going to share my story of astral projection. Then what I'm going to do is show you the most effective technique that I found, but also that I've recommended to other people that people have had the best experience with. So, to start this video off, 4 years ago, 2012, I lived at this house that was in the middle of absolutely nowhere. I live in Las Vegas, so there's big city, there's a lot of stuff around, but I lived in a 5-acre piece of property that was like south of Las Vegas. So you got the Strip, then you got south of the Strip, and then you got this hotel called the M Resort, which is like this new hotel that you'll see if you're coming into Las Vegas. It's like the first hotel you'll see on the right. And I lived like a mile south of that in what is called Sloan, Nevada, but really it's just like, you know, a couple minutes away from Las Vegas. And I lived on a 5-acre piece of property there in this really dope house. It had like this trampoline with trees, had like a workshop in the back. It was like this cool house, just kind of in the middle of nowhere. Friends would come over, would bat all this concrete with light. We'd play basketball at night, you know, really cool house to live at. And it's the house that I ultimately learned meditation. It was that kind of, there was just that time in my life when I started to learn those ideas. I came across and reading all about, you know, the benefits of meditation, started meditating, it started to change my life. Then what happened, I got other videos on that if you want to check out. A lot of my, you know, I talk about the benefits of meditation, stuff like that. But what happened is then what I did is I came across astral projection. I started learning about it, and I really got sold on it because I heard about this lady that was blind, but she claimed that she could astral project. So she worked with like researchers and stuff like that, and they kind of were testing her to see exactly what she could do. And what she was able to do was astral project up to a satellite and read off like a 30-something digit number that was on a satellite and get it right. So reading about that, learning about it, and, you know, seeing the research on it really made me kind of like start looking at this like, oh, maybe, hey, there's something here. I want to at least explore and see what some of the potentials were for me having similar kind of experiences. So I came across a certain technique. This technique I'm going to share with you a little bit more towards the end of the video. But first I just want to explain the story of kind of what happened. And basically this is what happened. So I already knew a little bit how to relax my body because of the idea of meditation, but what I did was I got into a very relaxed position, and then I did this technique that I'm going to share with you. And one of the first things I remember after a couple times of trying and getting, you know, to be able to do it was I remember being able to this technique's called the rope technique. So I remember that I was able to kind of do the rope, then I was going up and I was ascending up, and I remember that I was, my perspective switched. So versus me being laying on the bed and, you know, being like eyes closed, then all of a sudden my perspective switched to where then I was looking down at myself. And that was a cool sensation. It was a very curious type sensation. And I was looking down at myself, and then what I decided to do is I was going to go up. So I went up. I remember seeing inside of a vent, and then I just popped outside from over the house, and I was looking down at the house. I was looking at the property. I could see my car. I could see the workshop in the back. I could see the trampoline. I could see everything from like an aerial point of view. So then what I decided to do was that I was going to go somewhere that I'd been before, but just so I could kind of have like a certain type of reference experience for where I was. As I began to look up, then I saw saw Las Vegas right in front of me. There was like this mountain, and then right behind that mountain was all of Las Vegas. And it was like a little mountain, it wasn't that big. So I remember I was looking up, I saw the M Resort right over here. I saw the gym that I used to go to, the 24-Hour Fitness. I was kind of off to the side because I was pretty high up there. And it was like this sensation of kind of like flying, but it was more of like this light breeze sensation. It wasn't anything really intense. And then what I did was I decided I was going to go to Whole Foods. There's a Whole Foods right in what is called Town Square, which is like halfway in between my house and the Strip, the Las Vegas Strip. So I went there, and I remember I was looking down at it, and then I just kind of descended down into the building. Didn't go through like the front door or anything, just kind of like descended down. And then what I did was I was kind of looking around. I remember that I could see like the heads of the people that were walking around. I could see the aisles that were down, and I was looking at it from more of like an aerial point of view. But I remember what I did was I then went to where the one of the cashiers was. It was one of the first cashiers right when you walk in the doors, like the #1 or some cashier station or whatever you call it. And I remember I was looking down at the people that were being rung up, and the lady that was working the cashier, she was a blonde lady that was in her like mid-30s or something like that. And I was looking down, and I kind of looked around for a couple minutes or a couple, you know, I don't know, sensation of time. But then what I decided to do was that I was going to go down and try to move something. So there were like pens and paper that were on like the side. So what I did was I kind of went like this to kind of move it. The moment that I did that, my hand first off went right through the wood. It's not like, you know, actually anything moved. Then immediately, like that, I woke up. It was like I was back in my body, woke up. That's just, you know, that was kind of the experience. But right when I woke up, then I decided that what I wanted to do was to kind of check up and see if, you know, maybe I could see that same lady that was there or something like that. So it took me about half an hour to get ready and then get to Whole Foods. And I remember when I went there, first thing I noticed is I looked at the cashier. The lady wasn't there that I thought that was the lady that I saw. So I was kind of like curious about it, but I decided that I was going to just get some food. I had my iPad. I was going to like watch some videos or something, just eat some food and relax. So after about 30 or 45 minutes of eating, kind of watching videos on my iPad, so then I looked over and I saw that same blonde lady that I saw go over and relieve the guy that was at the same registry she was at. So in that moment, I recognized her, I recognized the hair, everything about her, and it was a lady that I hadn't seen before. So I go there maybe once a week, but it was a lady that I hadn't consistently saw, so I was kind of happy about that because I didn't want it to be somebody that consistently I was always seen, because then it could have just been from memory, but it was someone that was kind of fresh and new, and she relieved him. In that moment I knew that it was the same lady. It was like an instant click for me, and I realized that there was some truth to it. So for me, it was the first time that I had ever astral projected. I've done it maybe 4 or 5 times, but that was the most memorable one that I've had. I'd say that I enjoy lucid dreaming more than I enjoy astral projection, just because in lucid dreaming you have a little bit more options and ability to kind of like flexibility to do what you want. But nonetheless, it was a really cool experience. But what I want to do now is I want to show you the exact effective technique that I've used, and ultimately the same one you can use. I've suggested this to many people. Many people have had positive effect from it. So it's one of the most common techniques too. It's called the rope technique. So the first thing that I want to encourage you to do is to become very relaxed. So an easy way to do this is to lay on your bed and kind of keep yourself open. So have your hands out like this rather than like this. Don't necessarily be on your stomach or put your hands like this. And what you then want to do is bring this sensational awareness. So simply feel inside of your body and start at your head and work your way down. So what I would do was I would put the sensation maybe in my forehead or in my head, and then I would just imagine it, feel it letting go, relaxing. And then I would bring it to like the sensation behind the eyes. I'd imagine that just relax. And then what I would do is I'd imagine it go to my jaw, then my neck, then my left arm, my right arm, my chest, my abdomen, all the way around my body. And as I began to do that, I began to get into a more relaxed space. So a couple key things here. Tips that I have for you is the first one is remain curious and playful about it. Don't become so attached to the outcome that you're trying or resisting so hard. I found that the first couple times I did it was hard for me to do, and I didn't get anywhere because I was trying so hard to make it happen that I almost ended up resisting it. So what switched for me is when I began to have a playful curiosity about it, because I wasn't so attached to the outcome. So go in with the intention of doing it, but not having such a strong resistance to it or necessity for it to happen the way you think it's going to happen. Be open to it. The next part, come and relax in the body. Then what you do is you imagine the sensation of what it would be if there was a rope right hanging out in front of you that you were to get up and then start climbing up. So what you do is you just imagine yourself getting up and then touching the rope and then like hand over hand going up. And you just feel the sensation of it. You don't actually do it. You're completely relaxed, but you keep imagining the sensation and the visualization of it. Then what is necessary, you do that over and over again with repetition. Eventually what you do is you begin to imagine what it would be to switch the perspective from being, you know, like laying down with your eyes closed, to switching the perspective to then looking over yourself. So you imagine vividly the environment that you're in, looking down at yourself. And as you begin to switch your perspective and you combine that with the sensation of the rope technique, you do that over and over again, which is what I did. Eventually, it'll pop for you. You'll feel the sensation of it switch, and that's when you'll know that you actually begin to do it. A couple other tips for you. Don't try to manipulate or move anything like I did, because I immediately woke up from doing that. Just have this curious mentality, this playful mentality of observing more than anything else. And as you begin to do that, you'll begin to have more flexibility with the kind of experience that you have. So that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Feel free to like this video if you liked it, share it if you found it of value, and I'll see you guys on the next vid. Alright, peace. Much love.